podcast. This is a weekly podcast all about knitting and spinning, and today I've got a little sewing, a little bit of, sometimes I quilt, not very often, but I like the needle arts in general. So let's get started with this week's projects. I don't have any finished objects lately. I'm not a small project person. I don't get into making like hats, and I've made some mitts before. I've made some hats before. It's just, I tend to go for big projects. I don't know why, but I do. I go for like sweaters and shawls, things like that. So let's get started. I have gotten a lot of progress on my fade this week. Let me pull this up for you. I am in the 4th color, and I've finished the lace panel in the 4th color. So here is how far it is so far. Most of this you've seen. If you watch this every week, you have seen all of this and all of this. This is where I left off. Last week is where my stitch marker is. And I'm over 200 stitches going across. I have completed, when I finish this, this is the widest part of the Find Your Fade. So after that, it will be decreasing. Mine does not have a whole lot of fading going on right here, where it melts, where the color melts together. And the reason is because I ran out of this yarn. So the next color I'm going to, which is this is Sunseeker. All of the sparkly stuff in the middle is Sunseeker. This I could not get more of. And as I've said before, I was able to purchase a second ball of this, which is like a turquoise color, and you can see the sparkles in it. So I'm actually extending my turquoise section further than what it's intended, so it won't melt a whole lot on the other side where this yarn goes, just so it looks even, because I like things even. I'm not an asymmetrical person for the most part, except when I make shawls. A lot of times I do like making the asymmetrical shawls. I don't know. But anyway, that's how far I've gotten with my fade. And it should go faster now because I have hit the wide spot. So now it starts in with some of the decreases. So yeah, I've been working a lot on that. And I cast on a new project. I do have something new to share with you. I had talked about for a while now doing Bendy Arrow. And here is Bendy Arrow. It is by Charlotte Bory. And I want to show you a picture of what it looks like opened up, because you can see her under neck, but it is really, really pretty. Let me fold it so you can. It is a paid for pattern, so I don't want to show the pattern itself. But is that gorgeousness or what? And talk about not liking asymmetrical things, but look, here's an asymmetrical shawl. This dark section over here is where you start, and that's where I'm at right now. And I am doing mine in pink and gray. So let me show you the yarns I'm using. I've shown them before, but I don't know if you've never seen them knitted up though. The gray that I am using is Llama Lace Mélange. It's a Queensland yarn. It's by Knitting Fever. It is made in Peru for Euro Yarns. It is 100 grams, 418 yards, or 383 meters, and it is 100% baby llama. It is so soft. Here it is. This is the gray. I get as close as I can and not losing the focus. It is, like I said, it is baby llama. It is so very, very soft. So I have not started knitting with this yet. I'll explain why in a minute. I'm still in the pink section, but this is Queensland's. It is Queensland's collection, again, Llama Lace Mélange. And the color number, it just says color 01. It doesn't have a name given to it. Now the pink that I am using is a variegated pink. Here it is. And I was too lazy to come upstairs and get my ball winder out, so that's why it's rolled up like this. And this is pretty true to color. It's all different shades of like a rosy pink, and then it goes down to a cream. And the yarn that this is, it's made in Maine. I actually purchased this at Bee's Yarn Shop up in Bar Harbor last fall. It is Frolicking Feet hand-painted yarn by Dunroving Yarns. see if I can get this here a little bit better focused. Okay, it's about as good as it's going to get. The color is called Barn Roof. I'm not quite sure why, because it's a definite kind of a faded out pink. I guess the darker sections of it could maybe pass for a faded out red, but it's definitely a rosy pink. It is 100% domestic superwash merino, and it is 4 ounces, 480 yards. So again, that is Frolicking Feet Hand Painted Yarns by Done Roving Yarn. And the color is Barn Roof. Okay, now let me show you the beginnings of this shawl. I love the edging on this. I have redone this. I would be further along if I would listen to my own advice. I gave a tip last week about, when you're knitting something that's all garter stitch, it's really hard to keep track of what the front is from the back. So to stick a progress keeper on the right side, yeah, well, I didn't follow my own advice. And I got about this far knitted up and couldn't tell the front from the back. And you would think, looking at the pattern, I would be able to tell, because you can see it's got a narrow portion here and a wider portion here. But the way the pattern is written, it just says knit to the last 2 stitches before the marker. So by saying that, it would work for either side. So I couldn't even figure it out by looking at the stitches. So I ripped it out once because of that, and then I stuck a project keeper on, a progress keeper on, just so I could tell the front from the back. And then I got the whole thing done. The big solid section was ready to put the gray on, and happened to look a little closer at what I had knitted and realized something didn't look right. I missed an entire stitch, like halfway up. There is a stitch, and I can't say or anything what it is, because like I said, it's a paid for pattern. But it was a kind of an important part of the stitch, and it was very noticeable exactly where I stopped making it. So I ripped all of it out yet again. So this is how far I am so far. And I absolutely love the way this is knitting up. It's gorgeous. But look at the edge on this. It is an I-cord edging. I've done I-cord, but I've just never done an I-cord edging before. Let's see if I can get it where, there you go. Now you can see it really well. It makes for a very smooth, like stockinette edge. If you aren't aware of what I-cord is, a lot of sweatshirts, it's basically it's a round cording that's formed by knitting stitches in a constant tiny loop. And a lot of times you can do that on double pointed needles if you're just making cording and it's not attached to anything. You would use this like if you're making a sweater and you're putting a hood on it and you want to have drawstrings in the hood. If you wanted to put a drawstring type of a belt onto a sweater or something like that, that's what you would use I-cord for. So, but this is an I-cord binding, which there's numerous ways. I can't tell you how it's done in this particular pattern, but there are numerous ways to do I-cord that is bound on, you're knitting it actually into the pattern as you go. And if you check YouTube, there's several tutorials for knitting I-cord. But I am really, really happy with how nice of a straight edge, clean edge it gives to the pattern. This is just my progress keeper, just so I know which is the front and the back. I need to actually move it up here so I can see where it's at a little bit better. So this has been my at-home project, and my fade is the one I take along with me to meetings and lunchtime and things like that. It's my car knitting. So those are the 2 projects I've been working on with that. I also went to Walmart this week, and our Walmart didn't used to carry fabric, and it just started carrying it again, and they were running a sale, and I got it for $1 a yard, so I couldn't go too far wrong there. I'm not a big sewer. It's not something that's my favorite thing to do, but I did buy some material to make 2 dresses with. I got this, and it's pretty close to color. It's kind of a powdery blue, and it's like a heavy t-shirt type of material. And then I also bought a purple. They're not going together, don't worry. I'm not putting purple and blue together. I'm using the same pattern for both dresses that I'm making, so I actually cut them out together. So I don't want to open this all the way apart because the tissue paper for the pattern is attached still. But yeah, this is kind of a lavendery purple color. There you go. The colors you're seeing are pretty good. So it's a blue and a purple. I started sewing this morning. I guess it was about 11 o'clock, and I ended up hemming 2 pairs of pants, and I finished the project bag for the cowl that we have running right now, which I'll tell you about in a minute. And I spent 4 hours doing that. So by the time I looked at the clock and it said 3 o'clock, I thought I better get started with the podcast, and I need a break from sewing at this point. So that'll be on for another day, but it is cut out and ready to go. Now I also have been doing work on the prizes for the cowl. We are knitting, we're having a knit along, which is what a cowl is, for the shawl that I designed. It's called Banner Unfurled. You can find it on Ravelry. It is a paid for pattern. However, if you put in the coupon code KC20, I'll put it below. If you put in that coupon code, it will give you a 20% discount. And the discount runs indefinitely. So the cowl is going to run, it started about 2 weeks ago. It's going to run until June 30th. I will announce the prize winner on July 1st on that Saturday podcast. To enter, all you have to do is knit the shawl in whatever color you would like to do it in. I even had somebody contact me and they're interested in doing it in 2 colors instead of 3. And I was like, they're like, is that okay? I was like, sure, go for it. I haven't tried that. I'm open for all options. So all I require, you could even do the thing in 1 color, actually. It would be kind of boring, but you could if you wanted to. So whatever options, be creative. You can use, for the most part, it's going to take like around sport weight to sock weight type of yarn. You could get away with some fingering yarn, but for the most part, it's around sport to sock weight. And it will take you 3 skeins of 175 yards each. So if you're going to make it with 2 skeins, you're going to have to take your total yardage and then divide it in 2 instead of the individual 3 skeins. You will also need beads. It calls for 46 millimeter beads in any color that you would like. And to enter, you just have to go to the Ravelry thread. It's Katrina's Creations, and there's a group thread, and just open up the thread within the group and you'll see the cowl. Just post a picture and tell me what kind of yarn you used. I'm just anxious to see what it looks like knitted up in different colors and just different interpretations of the pattern. So now to get onto the important thing, the prizes. Okay, here is it is a skein of yarn. It is Primrose Yarn Company. There it is. I purchased this at my local yarn shop. This is a local dyer to me. She is about 20 miles from where I live. It is called Blueberry Jazz. There are blueberry colored speckles in the yarn. They're almost like micro speckles. They're little, but you can see them, and there's purple. You can see the speckles really good there. There's some purple speckles. So it's got blues and like a pink, and it goes into almost a highlighter pink, and then into a lighter purples, and there's white, and then there's speckles in all those colors too. So it's really pretty. It is on the Adelaide base, which is a fingering single ply. It is 100% superwash merino wool. There are 435 yards. It's 115 grams. So it's a good bit of yarn. You're going to be able to do a good bit with this. You could do a small shawl with that. But it would be really pretty if you put a solid color with it. It would be gorgeous. So, because it's titled Blueberry Jazz, I wanted to go with that blueberry theme. So, we have the project bag is complete. It is in the same colors. It's in a hot pink. It's not showing up as bright as it really is, but it's in a hot pink paisley and navy blue. That's the inside. It has a loop on each each side of the inside, so you could actually, I mean, it's a very generous sized bag. You could definitely do a shawl in this. It's definitely bigger than a sock weight or a sock bag. So you could put, oh, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 skeins of yarn in here. It's pretty good sized. Anyway, but there are 2 loops in here if you want to thread your yarn through this to keep the skeins from getting tangled up. It is a drawstring, and it's only string on one side so that you can pull the drawstring, and it's got a little clip here so it can be long enough to hang over your shoulder or wrap around your arm, and if you want to walk and do it at the same time. So then it has a loop on the outside here, and I have the stitch markers attached, and this is detachable, so you could put your stitch markers, you could hang your scissors on this, whatever you want to do. There is a little progress keeper right here, and these beads are lapis lazuli. I think that's how you pronounce it. They're blue. They're not showing up real good, but they are like blueberry blue. So there's a progress keeper, and then there are 6 stitch markers. I'm just going to pull off one because they're all the same. Let's see if I can make this color better. Well, it is not. It looks like it's black. It's not. These are, well, lapis lazuli. They're almost a blueberry blue. They're navy, dark navy blue. So there's 6 stitch markers and progress. There you can see the blue. There you can see it really well. So there's 6 stitch markers and a progress keeper. And those can hook to the outside, or you could hook them to the inside of the bag. I just figured I would stick it on the outside because it looked pretty. So there is the bag, and here's the yarn. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's entries. And again, it is going to run until June 30th, and the prize winner will be announced on July 1st. You just need to post a picture in the Ravelry thread, Katrina's Creations. Okay? So, this is going to be a short podcast today because, like I said, I don't have anything finished. I talked about a book last week, and then I promptly took the book back to work and dumped it in the library, and so I got it back out again so I could show it to you. I talked about a pizza series a couple weeks ago where 2 sisters own a pizza shop, and that is by Chris Cavender. This is another series. It's by the same author, but she goes by different names. This one is Jessica Beck. She also writes a classic diner series. She writes quite a few series, but she writes several series under the name Jessica Beck. This is called the Donut Shop Mysteries. There are recipes after every chapter. Some of them are donut related. Others, I saw a chicken recipe in here, a cheesy chicken recipe. So there's all kinds of recipes in these books. The owner her name is Suzanne Hart, and she owns Donut Heart's Coffee Shop and Donut Shop in North Carolina. So she gets in the middle of solving mysteries, and she has a helper in the store that works with her named Emma, and she has a best friend named Grace. And so between the 3 of them, and they have a buddy named George that's an ex-police officer, and he helps them out as well. And they get caught up in solving mysteries in their little town. It's funny when you read these cozy mysteries, it's like I would not want to live in the towns that they live in. It's like they must be murder capital of the world because they're tiny little towns and people are always dying that live there. So, but anyway, it's cute, and how can you go wrong with donuts? I mean, really. So, that is, I think this is maybe the first in the series. I'm not positive. I think it might be. This one's called Glazed Murder, and like I said, it is by Jessica Beck. And there are, I think I counted 24 or 25 books in this series. It's long. It's her most active series. The Classic Diner series that she has, I think there are 6 or 7 in. and that one's cute too, and it's a family that owns a diner and solves mysteries. Same premise type of thing as the other ones, but just with a little different food theme, and there's recipes in it as well. So that wraps up our podcast for this week, and thank you so much for stopping by. If you are not subscribed to our channel and you've enjoyed it, please click the little red button below. If you've enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you want to leave a comment in the bottom, I always reply to the comments. I am working on an Instagram account. I don't have a smartphone. I have a track phone that's imitating itself. It would like to grow up and be a smartphone. So I can only make the pictures post if I'm at home where I can connect to my Wi-Fi. So, yeah, I'm still working on that. So I will let you know when that is up and operational. But in the meantime, you can reach me at Pinterest and on Facebook as Katrina Knits. And you can reach me on Ravelry and Etsy as Katrina's Creations, all one word. So please stop by and check those out, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks again. Bye-bye.